Hello everyone, I am here today with a new process video. As you can see, I've got a single page layout here. This is a 3x8 pocket page, and I've got my card picked out already. That's half the battle. And then I have 3 photos, so that means I'm going to have to put together a photo flip. And I haven't decided yet, do I want this in a pocket by itself, and then all 3 of these are on the flip, or do I want this in the middle of one of these, and maybe this will be on the outside to indicate what it is. I don't know yet. I haven't decided, but I can at least get started in terms of making the flip. So I need to get some paper, cut it to the right size, and if possible, I will use paper that's already been cut into that are leftovers. So I do that a lot where maybe I have one side that's a pattern and the other side is white. Sometimes I'll use it if it's patterned on both sides and then just use washi to cover up kind of the strip in the middle from the area you might see. I do have plenty of options that would match this if I chose to go the washi route, so we'll just see what happens. So as it turns out, I do have this chunk of paper that I can use to make my flip, and sometimes I will actually use the die that I have to make it like the perfect size. The edges are super clean, but frankly I'm being lazy today and I don't feel like taking out my machine. I still have an old Cuttlebug that I use for cutting these out, and I just don't feel like taking that out. So I'm just gonna use my trimmer, fold it myself with a bone folder, and call it good. So here I have my piece of paper, and I cut it exactly at 3 inches wide to fit in the pocket. But then lengthwise, I do go a little bit over 8 because I have to add in just a little bit of extra room for when I have to fold it over. I've just found that it fits better in the pocket that way. So I will just fold it in half as best I can. Make sure that that's edge to edge there. And then I have a bone folder. I just do this to make that edge really flat and smooth. And there you can see I have it at the ready. So that really didn't take that much work at all. So I was playing around with the positioning of the photos. Which pockets do I want them in? What order do I want them in terms of the flip and all of that? So I think what I'm going to go with is I will have this one in the bottom pocket, so you can see the sign. This will be what shows on the front of the flip here. And then on the inside, I will have the journaling and then the door. Actually, no, maybe I want... change my mind already, see? Maybe I want this as what you see when you flip up, because then these are next to each other. There's a nice break there. This is kind of red on red. But if I do this and put this at the top of the flip, that looks pretty nice, I think. And then this is all broken up. I don't have red next to red. So you know what? Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So it will be like that when I actually put it together. So to make my flip, I need either a tab at the bottom or at the side, sticking out so that it indicates, hey, you're supposed to lift up here and look at what's underneath. So I have to decide, do I want this kind of brick red, this muted orangey red here sort of tone that I have going? I could also do just gray because I certainly have that. That can be a neutral. And then I also have this sort of bluish gray in the sky. So it'll be one of those. I'm just not sure exactly which. So I'm gonna look through my bag of labels, which I have right here. This is what I generally use for tabs. I just take out the color that I want, and oftentimes I will end up, cutting them in half, or even just cutting off a little bit of end, and then I always try to save something of what's left because I could use that on a page elsewhere, and I hate to waste stuff, so I feel like that's a good way to do things. I think I've decided I'm going to go with gray. I have 2 options here. They're pretty much the same color. They're very, very close, but I just can't decide, do I want a thinner one or the wider one? Underneath here, let's do this. This is what they will look like. So if I go with the wider one, looks like that. And if I go with the more narrow one, whoops, it looks like that. I like both. I'm thinking maybe the wider one, just when I see them together. This also has a wider edge, I just noticed. I think this border is maybe a little bit thicker than this, or are they the same? Oh, maybe they're pretty close, just a hair off. So I'm still thinking this one, but I think both would be good choices. right, so this is the amount that I cut off that I'm going to use for the tab. And so really I just need to put adhesive like on the top quarter of it there to get it to stick. And then I just want to place it as centered as possible, and then I will check it. I generally do not measure. I just stick it on there and hope that it looks good. Let's try it here. Will that be pretty even? Let's look. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. That looks pretty centered to me, so I think that is set. For the inside, I probably will do something on this photo because I've got a lot of room here. I could even stamp there if I wanted, maybe. But I do have some phrases that are in, hold on here, that are in here that I might be able to attach up there. But since I'm doing that, I know I'm not going to do, where to go? I know I'm not going to do anything with this photo. And it's kind of full anyway with what's happening. So I'm just going to attach that now. Since I know I'm not going to do anything else with it, that makes it pretty easy to get it on there and just be done with that one. So then I want to just get it to as close to the top edge here as possible. And adhere that, and that is set. Oh, it's a little off. It's a little uneven. I want to get it as close to that left edge as possible. A little better. It looks like it's a hair off, but you can't really see it on the front. So you know what? That's fine. I'm gonna leave it. So there we go. So we have that part done at least. For this, I may do something red here. I could just like put a strip of washi on it to bring some of that in. If I didn't want to do, obviously this is made for the date. I have the date in here quite a bit. So if I didn't want to do that, I could cover that up, which I might do. And then actually the reds will be further away from each other, which is a nice option. So I will look at that. And then I still have to figure out what to do on the front of this. I've taken out my red phrases and I got all excited for a minute because I saw this one. And I thought that color is like perfect for this. The saying does not go at all. And it doesn't fit. I'd have to cut it down. So I'm like, I guess not using that for this one. That's a bummer. I like some of these, but these aren't exactly the same color. When I look closely, they're not that bad. It's not a bright red like this. Those are definitely different. So I might choose one of these. I'm not sure. I'll have to look and just see. And obviously I have to cut them down. There's a lot of white space there. Yeah, I'm just not sure. So I'll just sit with those for a while before I make my decision, and then I'll be back. I've decided to do this one, take it all in, because this one is from a distance. So I felt like that was pretty fitting. And I do obviously want to lay it over from this end. So I need to cut off this part quite a bit. I got way too much white space there. And then over here, I could probably leave like maybe that much. That gives me plenty of room to put in at least one staple, maybe two if I want it. And if I put in one and I feel like there's still too much white space, not a problem. I can just clip it off after I do this. So let's get it on there. What do I think? You know, I do want to move it over just a little, like maybe that much. Is that pretty even? I think so. Yeah, that looks good. So we'll cut off that part. Not a big deal. There we go. And we'll put it in a staple. And then this one is probably ready to attach to the photo flip. Let's see here. So this is how it's going to look. Get them together here. So it'll look like that. I think that's good. Yeah, I like the way those look together. I've decided that I do want to cover up the date part here. I don't need that. I had grabbed out 3 washis because I wasn't sure which was going to work the best. I thought for some reason when I was over there looking at them that these might be a better fit, but these are almost like a maroon almost. This one I feel like is a better match for the door and for this maybe. So I think I'm going to go with this one. If I put it on and I hate it, I can always lift it up and use one of these instead. Well, even after doubling up the washi, you can still see those marks through there a little bit, and that irritates me. I will leave it that way if I have to, but I am going to try to go into my gray phrases like these, my word strips, and see if I can find something to overlay that so it doesn't show as much. Hopefully I can find something, but if not, it goes as is. In my gray phrase strips, I did find something. I like this one. I love that this is a darker gray, and I can tell just from the look of it, like I made this myself in Project Life and then cut it out. I put a bunch of phrases on a gray background and then cut it out. Glad I did that because now I get to use it. So I think I will just layer it over like this. I'll cut off a little bit here because you can kind of see the edge there, and overlay it like so, and that way you can still see the washi enough for the color, but then it covers up those dashes that I don't like. All right, so I cut it down to what I wanted. I adhered it. I'm gonna put a staple in. And then it's going on here. I will do my journaling off camera as I normally do. But I do wanna just get this on there and then in the pocket so I can see how it looks. So here again, I'm just gonna line this up as best I can with the edge. There we go. And then let's put it in the pocket. See what I think. All right, so here's how it looks like that. Love the front of this. And that's how it looks once it's open. And you know what? I think those were the right colors. That was the right choice. All right, so here's another one done for Baltimore. Thanks for watching.